I don't think they're using the equal sign correctly. Also math. 1979, and I can't help but think this is George Miller's vision of the apocalypse, an answer to the world he saw around him, the way people acted during the gas shortage for one, but also in excess. A few is more than a couple, but less than several. This movie coming out in 1979 makes it historical fiction, and never use motor oils as lube. It's amazing the things you learn at a Road Warrior themed swingers party. Also, there is no reason not to give us an exact year. No one is going to call you out if you set this in 1985 and the events of the movie don't happen, unless it's us. Anyway, movie presents a bleak future and doesn't realize that one day CinemaSins will be a part of it. Or the cause of it. Just set the movie in an actual year. Mad Max, Subtlety Road. Threatening to shoot someone else's load. Crude drawing on a road sign inspires the movie Boxing Helena.
Twisto biking, scoot jockey.
I think I'd like to be one of those. Why Australians gotta make everything sound so fun? Not giving me an explanation for why he's got to marmalade up his hands. In a literal blink and you'll miss it shot, movie focuses on Knight Rider's toes, which spell out death. It's subliminal foreshadowing that passes by too quickly for me to feel smart in real time. Holy shit. Anarchy and bedlam? Do any of these roads lead to Mayhem Boulevard or Chaos Lane? Later we'll get a bunch of exposition about it being hard to get car parts, and that has stopped none of these assholes from beating the shit out of all the cars.
Main force to Gosling 1.
Gosling 1? This is a bullshit sign, and I shouldn't have to explain why. This naturally occurring ramp.
Now what's this I hear about you and Jonathan?
What about Jonathan?
Jonathan. Oh, what a terribly inconvenient time to break down. Well, like my dad always says, make sure you stall in a way that completely blocks the road. You know, for safety.
Really gonna get it this time? He had his indicator on.
I see no indication that the indicators were on, or that this person chose to stop at all and check for traffic. To think I'm spent all this time scared of wallabies when drivers are the real danger down under.
Stay off the road!
This guy's voice knocks this person down. Holy shit, those cops just saw their own future. Little known fact, it's common practice when you break down in Australia to remove the tires on one side of your caravan, prop up your trailer hitch, and cut the damn thing in half. So it forms a nice ramp for the police. Here in the States, we just put on our hazards.
You better send a meat truck. Charlie's copped a saucepan in the throat.
Man, I am literally buried up to my neck in Australian slang, and this movie isn't even 10 minutes in.
I am the Knight Rider. I'm the Knight Rider, baby. I am the Knight Rider.
I think this guy might be the Knight Rider. You would think all this tailgating would lead to a pit maneuver or something, but it doesn't. And I'm left wondering why and how bump drafting became high-speed chase protocol. Why is there always shit in the middle of the road? They don't need police as much as they need a brigade of bulldozers.
After 3 days, I feel so good.
3 days of what? Christmas? Jesus Christ, how much is on this kitchen counter? You got pictures, plants, a seahorse, a turkey jar of some sort, a serial killer trophy. If you throw in some moths, this kitchen looks like Buffalo Bill's summer home.
What's that?
Crazy about you.
Oh, come on. I get the crazy and you part, but you're telling me every gesture after the crazy part meant about? And I'm not nearly drunk enough yet to believe that. The director said, let's have your character eat an apple. People will find out about you being an asshole 25 years from now. Max throws Goose an apple, which he then puts in his mouth, but in the next shot, the apple is gone, which means he's one of those movie dickheads who gets an apple and then throws it away after one bite. Goose pulls up with his right leg broken when it was the other one that seemed to be pinned under the bike when he crashed. Is this impossible? Maybe not. Is it a distracting discontinuity? Definitely. These guys swoon over the last of the V8s when they appear to have a rocket ship.
You will not try this one on me again. I do not enjoy wasting money.
I have so many questions about this guy who wears fencing equipment out in public. Is he going to a kendo match? Does he wear this stuff to protect himself out in the world? Is it a disguise? Piss in a can. I mean, Australian phobia. These guys give all the feels of a group about to break out into Cool from West Side Story. But instead of that, they eventually settle on doing some Clockwork Orange bullshit.
Push me, shove you.
Oh yeah, says ho.
Which is literally not cool. Why does Toe Cutter, the clear leader of this gang, walk completely out of frame and presumably continues walking past the one guy who can give them information about Knight Rider? Sure, he can let his lackey ask the questions, but why doesn't he just stick around?
Poor bastard.
The Knight Rider.
Yes, but once you take away Kit, how special really is the Knight Rider? Motor sextants. Movie expects me to believe that this couple who woke up when the gang arrived in town have been standing here peering around the corner for the last 4 minutes of the movie's runtime, which is about 15 to 20 minutes in real time. First but not last time, a blow to the windshield will make someone swerve wildly off the road instead of hitting the brakes. Kundalini appears to be on both sides of the car at the same time. Let the others have some fun as well, you fucking overachiever. You gotta love a vehicle where the passenger needs a giant dome to protect their body, but the person driving it does not need any protection whatsoever. So after the gang did some pretty heinous things to this couple, why does Johnny the boy stay around and not go back with the gang?
Okay, it's okay.
Yeah, it's okay for you to put the rope down, Goose.
It's all right. Gonna let this go now.
Seriously, you held on to that way longer than was necessary. Johnny the boy conveniently yells out the Knight Rider's name so that Max can make a connection to the dude from the beginning of the movie.
Johnny the boy has done it again. This time it's a scrubber.
Why does it feel like this line is being delivered as if they weren't all there with Johnny the boy assaulting that couple? And if this is a thing that Johnny the boy is known for, why did they leave him alone at the scene with the girl? And why did they have to give Johnny the boy a name with 3 words and 4 syllables?
MSP Code 1. Captain McAfee in convoy from the courthouse to the halls of justice.
Police dispatch position.
Perhaps it's a result of an anxiety.
Script decided to add its vague subtext to the text.
The punks didn't show, the girl didn't show, the townspeople didn't show.
It means, old man, you haven't got a case. No contest.
So wait, there was a trial already? But if that's the case, why is the defendant sitting here at the police station? Like, I get that this is a f***ed up world and the witnesses are all scared to speak out against the gang, but why didn't Johnny the boy show up to his own trial?
Hey, look at you, a cripple and a mute.
I guess the first jab is about his leg, but the second makes no f***ing sense.
The court's worried about this destruction.
This movie is like an Australian version of Dirty Harry, where the cops have been stripped of all their power while lawlessness just goes unabated because of a liberal government that jerks it to red tape and due process. I'm shocked there isn't a scene where Max gets upset they hired a woman to be a cop, or gets upset at someone putting ketchup on a hot dog.
She's mine.
Pronouncing yourself man and mannequin. All the quick cutting in the world isn't going to make me believe he hit anything without even attempting to aim this gun. Shotguns aren't just magic, no skill needing boomsticks. We won't play the music, but the score of this movie constantly edges you. Like you think something big is about to happen, but then all they do is walk into the ocean to start a new life under the sea. This long scene where Goose ogles a singer while she seductively sings at him is set up to show that he later has sex with her. And that's about it. Flicking someone's antenna without consent.
Sun City Sector 3. A code 4 trauma in progress.
And look at this movie setting a blistering pace while Goose gets on his motorcycle and drives out of the car park. I mean, trying to breathe under the duress of this non-stop action. You know what really picks up? When Goose contemplates life for a bit before he speeds off. It's quite breathtaking. Oh, I guess Johnny the boy has never seen Lawrence of Arabia and never learned that trick about not minding. Riding. Excite bike? Wow, what were the odds that there would be a ramp here? Max really hasn't been in the movie for the last 20 minutes, which is weird considering the title. Even the scene where the lawyers released Johnny the boy out of prison was Goose's scene, not Max's, which seems like a mistake considering we're supposed to see how mad this dude is. So Goose wrecks his motorcycle and then walks to a nearby town supposedly, and then he gets somebody to help him out. So what was the point of that shit? You know what, guys? I'm the one who's mad. This guy traded what I'm assuming is the temporary use of his truck for a bike? Isn't Goose going in the direction where he got this guy's help in the first place? He can't just drop this dude off somewhere closer to town? So during that entire time, Goose walked to town to get this truck. Johnny the boy and these other guys have been doing what exactly? The last time we saw Johnny, he was sitting in his car burning himself right after Goose drove by. Since then, Goose has gotten in a wreck, walked to town, got a lift back to his bike, and is now driving down the road again. I know Johnny is like a crackhead or something, but surely it didn't take this long to track Goose down. Also, Johnny would have had to have known that Goose was driving this truck now. At what point did he figure that out? And why didn't he try to kill Goose then? Johnny the boy manages to Tom Brady this thing through the windshield on the first try. Kid's got untapped potential. Too bad his only option was Australian rules football. Fuel line breaks right above Goose to make him dramatically more flammable. How is this match even still lit after all this nonsense? I'm pretty sure Goose is getting punished for having premarital sex. That's the conclusion at which I have arrived after the movie spent the last 10 minutes following his character. Even in his fragile state, Goose really knows how to nail the cinematic timing.
That thing in there, that's not the Goose.
I guess this situation isn't too far from a horror movie, and that's exactly what this dialogue reflects. That said, this is a bizarre thing to say even by Mel Gibson standards.
I was hungry.
Know who is also hungry? The child we almost never see you two taken care of. Mad Max takes a holiday. Jessie is eating the apple here, but it's tough to call her the asshole in this scene. They found a retired Sherlock Holmes giving away dogs. It's funny to me in this scene where Max and Jessie take a vacation that their kid doesn't show up anywhere. I guess we're supposed to think their son is in the van or something, napping while they go jumping through the hilly brush.
When I was a kid,
Knowing kids exist, but not knowing where yours is.
me and my father used to go for long walks.
Skip! I'm kind of surprised that Max just lets his wife drive off with the kid to get ice cream and doesn't come with them. Not like the auto mechanic needs Max's expertise in fixing the tire. Jesse will accident upon the toe cutter gang because despite the vastness of the continent, all the events of this movie will take place in the same lawless 3-mile radius outside of Melbourne. Director said, "Can you eat a very small banana in the strangest way possible so that it will be very distracting from all the other weird shit you're doing?" This guy's hand comes off in a way that makes me believe it wasn't attached very well in the first place.
Max, get in!
What's up?
Look, just take my word for it. Get in!
I was going to send Max for not just getting into the car, but the bigger sin is Jesse deciding that she will not be explaining the situation instead of saying, "There be hooligans chasing me."
Hey, fella! What about the tire?
Dude, did you miss the part where Jesse was begging Max to get in the car because obviously something was wrong? Like, clearly life or death wrong?
Nothing, mate.
Oh.
And
Man, they sure got over that incident at the beach like it never happened. I'm shocked they haven't gone home yet. Hell, did she not tell Max about the biker gang? Possibly in the hopes he had dealt with such gangs before?
what you got there, mate?
There is clearly a hand above Jesse's head here, but the movie implies that the hand is discovered lower to the ground. I love how it's the discovery of the severed hand and not the attack itself that gets this couple on the move, making a callback to this bullshit. This dog doesn't bark or anything at these dudes sneaking up on them in the woods, and I do not believe that. The only thing the auto mechanic told Toe Cutter was that Max and Jesse might have been going north, and from that description, they were able to find exactly where they went. These guys were in the woods before Jesse went to the beach, so what the f*** have they been waiting for? Holy f***, there's nothing worse than when you're running away from a motorcycle gang and you get flanked by a pigeon. The owner of this land just happens to have a son who hangs out in the woods for maximum creepiness.
Hey, you call the doctor.
That's racist. Who's Sprague? By the way, it's kind of f***ed up that this kid's name is Sprague.
Well.
So is it the movie's contention that Toe Cutter's gang drove up to this property and no one saw or heard them? They're riding motorcycles, for Christ's sake. This place is out in the middle of nowhere. They didn't just secret themselves on this ranch. The only way this works is if, like the movie, you've been focused on Jesse's perspective. Like, the gang could have worked its way around Jesse, no problem, but that leaves out Max and the property owner, May, who have been up here the whole time while Jesse was on the beach. Unless these assholes have been pushing their bikes everywhere, how the f*** did this happen? Whatever the reason, this guy is here.
Jesse, you've not got a sense of humor. I suppose you don't need a sense of humor with a pretty face.
Hold it right there!
I hate guns.
Toe Cutter is an iconic villain that shifts from menace to comedian seamlessly, and he did well before anyone got hard at the mention of the Joker. I would be mad if I didn't take a cent off for this performance.
Anyone so much as breathes out cheese.
Confusing cheese with death. Movie proves that motorcycles make a lot of noise and shouldn't have been able to secretly come up here. Jesse's car is taken out by a fence through the radiator when the movie spent all that time building up the fan belt problem that Max was working on.
Rhoda! What are you trying to say?
I have had the same question for most of the movie. These guys analyzed the spray pattern of the fence and figured out that Jesse turned left.
Get out! Run!
And by that, I mean run down the road where you are easily seen and tracked down. Definitely don't run into the fields and maybe hide or something. Just run down the street and maybe the gang on motorcycles won't see you. Death by editing. Also, were they really running around with a ball this whole time? The evidence suggests that no, they weren't. But man, isn't it such a tragic symbol of innocence? We can forgive it just this once, right? Right? Also, it's terrible that they run Jesse and Sprague down, but given everything we know about these guys, it's weird that they just keep going. They don't stop or do a dance or revel at all.
Is yours a bureau?
Yep, that's it.
Not a problem, huh?
Multiple traumas, spleen, liver, lung, whale chest, left neck of femur, renal shutdown.
Should this information have been exchanged earlier at some point before or during treatment? This medical exposition that Jesse is in bad shape is doing more to cast doubt on the quality of care she is receiving.
Brings like a grocery list.
Only if Aussies are confusing shopping with bar fights.
You salvage book?
Yeah, sure. We got all the science back last night.
The whole tone of this conversation has been incorrect at best and confusing at worst. Of all the things Mac could be holding as a reminder of Jesse and Sprague, he chooses this fucking mask from earlier. When Max runs into the house, why the f is the TV on playing static? I guess his situation doesn't seem emotional enough if we can't see everything in disarray. Max is mad, and what he's got to do can only be done in leather for reasons. It takes nearly the whole movie for Max to become mad.
I've been looking for fuel.
Man, everybody just spills their guts to this mechanic anytime they see him. Anyway, I think it's weird Max went back to this guy for information. Earlier, he and his wife just randomly showed up here during their vacation, and the gang just so happened to be there at the same time. Why does this seem like a place where the gang shows up frequently, to the point that the mechanic can give Max information about them? I like how people in this movie can just sit on the side of a highway and wait for whoever they're chasing to show up, and they just do. Maybe there's only one road in this section of Australia, or it's a big Mobius strip or something. Why is it always f***ing mannequins with these guys? From what I've heard, the stuntmen who worked on this movie weren't so much acting as they were willing to ride shiny and chrome to Valhalla. I feel compelled to remove a sin because it has been anything but mediocre. It's good to see that Max, blinded by rage at the death of his son and his friend and the near death of his wife, managed to pack some Polaroids of them before he left so he could send a message to Toe Cutter. The f*** is this truck honking at? He let Max pass him and there was no incident. Max looks at the potentially injured gang member on this desolate road, looks all around, and then suddenly he notices Toe Cutter and Bubba, who were there the whole time, and one of the guys shoots him with a handgun. They rev their motorcycles and chase us. They were that far down the road? How did this dude hit Max's leg with such precision with a handgun at that distance? How did Max even notice them just before he got shot at that distance? In the 5 seconds that he lays here with his arm outstretched, Max should have been able to reach the gun or move his f***ing arm. I feel no remorse, but that could just be due to the fact that he looks like Mel Gibson. Yes, the gang runs over Max's arm. Yes, they want to torture him, but don't they want to get this gun out of the way before they drive this far past the scene? No?
Quit toying, Bubba!
Are you not the leader of the gang?
Easy. I know what I'm doing.
I mean, did they just put Bubba in charge of killing Max? Or what the f*** is this? Also, Bubba's words suggest that he's done this before, where he toyed with someone who had a f***ing gun at arm's length. You see here, the key is not to worry about that. The guy I did this to before couldn't reach his gun, so I figure the same thing applies here. Also, this will get him killed in a dumb way, which is a shame because up to now, Bubba has been one of the most compelling characters, and we were led to believe he was smarter than driving straight at the man with the shotgun and expecting him not to use it. You gotta love how there's already a bird of prey on top of Bubba, mere seconds after he got cheesed. Mel Gibson's audition for Michael Jackson's Thriller somehow makes it into the movie. Instead of trying to avoid the truck, Toe Cutter takes off his goggles to confirm that it is in fact a truck. So here's where Toe Cutter bites it. He gets smashed with a truck, evil is punished, and I'm sure we won't enter the post-apocalypse in the next movie or anything. It's just that I was wishing this guy would become Immortan Joe. It's the same actor and everything. They even made a comic where Immortan Joe was once a part of a motorcycle gang, but they're two different people. Here's a sin to me for wishing things. Max completely lucks out and finds Johnny the boy with no problem on his way back. The movie gave us an unnecessary amount of heart-pumping, high-octane buildup just so we could watch Johnny let Max kill him without putting up the least bit of a fight. Amazing that Max can totally MacGyver a time bomb using a broken headlight, a lighter, and the fuel spilling out of this wreckage.
The chain in those handcuffs is high tensile steel. It'll take you 10 minutes to hack through it with this. Now, if you're lucky, you could hack through your ankle in 5 minutes.
Mad Math, Probability Road. Also, movie steals this math-based puzzle nonsense from the movie Saw. Also, that's some absurdly specific math-based puzzle nonsense for Max to pull out of his ass on such short notice. Seems like every character in this movie dies in, around, or because of a vehicle in this movie. I wonder if there's a message there. Nah, it's just weird. Let's call it weird.
In God we must.
Sir, please get out of the vehicle.
You have a great night.
Meanwhile, at the Hall of Justice.
I'm gonna hit the brakes, he'll fly right by us.
Get me off the grid!
Calculating route to secure location.
What a wonderful philosophy you have.
Hakuna Matata?
I want to be your manager. You follow that, do you?
Fight said I don't need no manager.
But you can't buy what I'm going to give you. I mean, I've got pain and I've got experience.
Yo, I got pain, I got experience too.
And Kundalini wants his hand back.
I want my baby.
That will
I want my baby.
The dingoes got my baby!
A football practice.